Okay, I'm gonna give my thoughts on Shazam. Shazam, for me, feels like a really unique type of uh feels like for me a really unique type of DC movie. It seems a lot of lighthearted, taking a note from MCU's note, which is a lot more friendlier, I'd say. While still it doesn't really feel like a DC film. Which is almost a good thing because I don't think every film in the DC universe that kind of throws that DC touch, it makes it kind of infamous, and this definitely doesn't feel like DC, and that's almost a good thing. That's a good thing. And it feels something that you can enjoy more, and it's removed from that dark tone that I think I don't 100% get to enjoy. While I still think can deliver good action stuff, but I definitely think this looks like one of those movies I would prefer a good joke than a good action scene. Prefer a joke over emotion, which is evident from the trailers. That persona, that tone, from the start to finish. I mean, I like the whole idea. I like the whole premise, and I like how it looks so far. I like the idea. So I do think it's set up for a good film. One, I think that's going to reach on a more comedic note than any action. And definitely is going to play a pretty big twist on the superhero genre. Well, having the premise of the character still intact, which I think will make for kind of this fun movie. I don't think it'll be like one of those standouts, but I think because when this movie comes out, you're kind of looking at this kind of like a low. Like I think in the recent years, when 3 DCU films, the two most recent the two and I think that if you notice that the two most recent DC films both were good, so in many extents that it seems like DC has kind of started to get along. I think the big difference between DC and Marvel so far is that Marvel got off with a good footing, and I think here it doesn't seem like they got off for a good footing. But I think going forward, I feel like the Shazam could be a new start. I know that today I think like they're talking about casting for Suicide Squad, but I feel like it's one of those things where like Marvel goes out with their big heroes first and do those smaller scale stories later. Instead, DC's really goes for peculiar stories, with Birds of Prey. I'm like, where are you going with that? Out of all the storylines, Man of Steel 2, another Justice League, while maybe they're not that fittingest, they're going to take a character from the worst DCEU film and expand more on it, and I don't like that. And now they're making a sequel in addition to a spin-off, all spawning around the worst film, which I don't think is a peculiar idea, which is why I'm glad they go back to the original roots. So films like Aquaman, films like Shazam, Wonder Woman, Man of Steel, they do good because there's original stories. I don't think it's original stories, but not stories written right. And I don't think DC has finally got their footing to collage a lot of group of superheroes. It's not easy. It's just MCU can pull it off. I don't think at this extent DCEU could. So I do like the idea that they're going back to a smaller scale story about a kid, a superhero, and out of all the superheroes left to tell, I think this could be an interesting one. I mean, obviously you would think, why not Green Lantern? Why not one of the poster boys for that? Why not Flash? Well, I'm totally like probably should do one of those, but I think again that's kind of why it's peculiar that out of going all those A superheroes, we're going for B. And then Suicide Squad's kind of like C, and then you got the Joker. And I don't think the Joker is particularly good. So that's kind of why, I won't particularly throw it out there as, oh, it's going to be the greatest superhero movie. But it could be just one of those ones that are entertaining. And I don't think it could be that bad. I don't think it's not as big of a character as Superman. It's not as big as a character as Batman. So I guess when you understand because it's a B superhero, if it's not really done as perfect, there's not as high expectations as opposed to Wonder Woman, as opposed to Man of Steel, as opposed to Batman vs. Superman, as opposed to Justice League. That allows it to be more outside the box because the character itself is pretty outside the box. And again, I think I do like that because of that. So yeah.